asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Om. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurti Namaha. There is an old Indian analogy called Singhavalokana Nyaya. The analogy of the lion looking back upon the ground covered. Now it is said that when the lion moves majestically through the forest, once in a while it looks back upon what ground it has covered. Basically it means revision. So we have to look back upon the ground covered. You are the lion. So you're going to stop now and look back upon what has been covered. In the 6 verses that we have done of the Dakshinamurti Stotra, which is 10 verses in the original version composed by Shankaracharya, the first verse answered the question, who am I or what am I? I am this one non-dual consciousness. Then the second verse, it answered the question, what is this universe? What is it that we are experiencing, this cosmos? And the answer was that one non-dual consciousness from it within itself, because of the power of Maya, manifests like a sprout within a seed, manifests this universe of tremendous diversity. And then we moved to the third verse, which said, the one non-dual consciousness which I am and the one non-dual consciousness which Ishvara or God is, it is one non-dual consciousness. So the meaning of Tattvamasi, you are that, was taught in the third verse. And therefore completing the analysis of the Mahavakya, the great sentence which is central teaching of Advaita Vedanta, you are that, it's completed in verses 1, 2 and 3. Then it was shown that consciousness is always shining, but through a process of reflection in the mind and senses and body, we come to have a secondary shining, so to say. The words used were bhanam and anubhanam. That secondary shining, that reflection is what we feel right now. That's obvious. If anybody is subtle and looks inwards, you'll feel, I am aware. That's that secondary shining. The enlightened one will see it in another way. We'll see it as like we see a mirror and I'm aware of my original face and the reflected face. That's how the enlightened one sees it. And we see it exactly in the same way, except that for some reason we are not aware of the face. We are just aware of the reflection in the face. So that reflection, the original face is bhanam, shining forth. And the reflected face is anubhanam, the reflection in the mind, the reflected consciousness. The original consciousness, of course, the advantage is it is original, it is real. It is the reality, it's our real nature. But the problem with it is you can't see it directly. You can't appreciate it. See it directly means we can't see it as an object. We can't make it an object of our experience. Whereas the reflected consciousness can be made an object of our experience. Why? Because there is a medium in which it is reflected. There is a mirror in which the face is reflected. Just as we cannot see the original face, but we can see the reflected face. Similarly, we can become aware of this reflected awareness. And then this reflected awareness has a special use. It makes knowledge possible. Janami, I know. I know, I see, I hear, I smell, taste, touch, I think, I imagine, I remember, I love, hate, enjoy, suffer, wake, dream, sleep. All of that is this janami. It's because of that reflected consciousness. It's because of that reflected consciousness we come to be called Pramata, knower. I am the knower. We come to be called Karta, I am the doer. We come to be called Bhokta, I am the enjoyer, sufferer. I am samsari. Ahankara, the ego is full blown then. Then we went on to say that this reflected consciousness comes and goes like the phases of the moon. It waxes and wanes, sometimes more alert, more conscious, waking, sometimes half conscious, dreamy, sometimes it seems to be switched off, deep sleep. But pure consciousness is always shining. And pure consciousness is always available in every knowledge. See, the knowledge is something which is evident. When we experience something, it's evident to us. We are experiencing. The beauty of this verse, number 4, it suggests to us that one non-dual consciousness, that Dakshinamurti, is available to us in every experience. Just as the sunlight is available to us whenever things are lit up by moonlight at night. That is the sunlight only. It is sunlight only, it is consciousness only which enables us to have all experiences. And the enlightened one knows this. So enlightened one is based in what is William Blake called in the radiance of eternity, in eternity's sunrise. So, and it is always available. In samadhi it is available, in waking it is available, in dreaming it is available, in deep sleep also available. Then came 2 verses, 5th and 6th. What are the other views of the self? There are people who think I am the body. There are people who think I am the senses. People who think I am the mind, intellect. Basically, people are convinced I am the body-mind. And some of them may be ordinary people who don't think much about philosophy. Some may be philosophers, pretty sophisticated. So all these positions are taken up and analyzed. They're taken up and analyzed to show their fallacious nature and to prove that we are one non-dual consciousness. That was the 5th verse. One of the most powerful Purva Paksha is the Madhyamaka Shunyavadi, emptiness school, which says all your permanent consciousness, where is it in deep sleep? We find in deep sleep it is not there. They use the Chandrakirti, uses the analogy of 2 bales of hay leaning against each other. If you remove one bale of hay, what will happen? The other will fall. You are subject and object. They stand on each other, they lean on each other. You appear to be saying that the subject remains even when the object is gone. The lake remains even when the reflection is gone. You, the consciousness, remain even when the world is gone in deep sleep. But the Shunyavadi says, no, when the object falls away, the subject also goes. Your own experience shows it. In deep sleep, neither is there in object, nor is there in subject. None of your back calculation, I slept happily, I did not experience anything, that sort of thing will not work. That is not true to your own experience. Your experience is nothing was there. And the answer to that, Shankaracharya says, that no, what you say as the subject is gone is that anubhati, that reflected awareness. The knower disappears, the doer disappears, the enjoyer or sufferer disappears. But the core of the knower, doer, enjoyer or sufferer, pure consciousness, that remains. The jiva remains as absorbed in pure existence, in sat. It is like eclipse. When the sun is eclipsed, the shadow of the moon passes over the sun. It seems that the sun is eclipsed. But sun is there, sun is not gone. When the moon is eclipsed, moon passes into the shadow of the earth. Moon is there, moon is not gone. So like that, like the moon or the sun being swallowed up by Rahu, our existence seems to be swallowed up because there is no manifestation of knowing, enjoying, suffering, no apparent presence of the jiva. But it is there in an unmanifest form. So it's not that the content of deep sleep is nothingness. It is pure being. Pure being sometimes seems similar to pure nothingness. Pure existence seems similar to pure non-existence sometimes. Because in both cases there is no manifestation. Now we move on. he is summarizing the method of Vedanta. What exactly are we doing to become enlightened? Verse number 7. Balyadishvapi jagradadishu tatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanam aham intyanta sphurantam sada swatmanam prakatikaroti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurti. To him who by means of the blessed symbol manifests to the disciples the true self that always shines within as the self, constant in all the varying states of infancy, manhood and old age, of Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti and so on, to him who is incarnate in the teacher, to him who is the effulgent form facing the south, to him Shiva be this salutation. He is teaching us the central method of Vedanta. What is the central method? It's the method of what might be called agreement and difference. As we pass through many, many states, there is a golden thread that connects all our states. He says, Balyadishu api. From babyhood to childhood to teenage to middle age to old age, in all the states of ages of our life, one thing remains constant. He says, Aham ityanta sphurantam sada. I, the sense of I. As a baby also I felt I. As a child also I felt I. And so did I feel as a teenager, as a young person, and now as a middle-aged or old person. I feel I. Now, what surrounded that I as a baby or a child? The baby's body, the baby's perceptions and needs, and the surroundings which it experienced. Those have changed dramatically. And today maybe I may be an old person. Body has changed dramatically. My thoughts and feelings have changed dramatically. My memories are different. And my surroundings are so different. So many things have changed dramatically. From babyhood to middle age to old age. One thing has not changed. I. That I is constant. It is going on. Now, a subtle argument may be put forward here. The mind-only school of the Buddhist will say, yes, you feel I, but it's not the same I. It's a series of flashes of I. Every moment. Why baby and childhood and adult and all? Every day, every moment that I is arising and disappearing. It's not the same I. Every moment it is there. So it is not a continuity. He says, I know what you are trying to do. Body is discontinuous, it is changing continuously. But I is remaining continuous and stable. But the mind-only school, Vijnanavadin, will say, the I is actually flashing in and out much faster than the body itself. It's changing dramatically. It just looks similar, that's why you're deceived into thinking it's a constant I. What will you answer? Shankaracharya says, Pratyabhigyayate. It is recognized. What do you mean recognized? I feel, not only feel I, and not only that baby felt I, but I feel it is the same I. It's different from just feeling I. All of us feel I, but I don't feel that my feeling of I is the same as your feeling of I. But my feeling of I was the same which I had years ago as a baby. And it is that same I which I recognize was in the teenagers, as a teenager, as a young person, as a middle-aged person, as an old person. Same I is continuing. Recognition means two things, memory and cognition. So when I'm seeing something, that's perception. Recognition happens when it requires memory and perception. So I'm seeing something, it's perception. But if I see something or somebody and remember that this is the same one I saw earlier, this is recognition. Recognition requires two things. You must perceive it now, and you must have a memory of perceiving it earlier. And the two must match. I recognize this. It is the same person whom I saw many years ago, and now I'm seeing them. I recognize. Many years ago, memory. Now, perception. Memory plus perception come together, recognition. Pratyabhigya. What does it prove? If you say it's the same one, then it proves that it's not a discrete I. You don't feel that was that times I, this is this times I. The two are different. No, I feel it is the same I. Notice that I am not avoiding change. I know it was that times body, baby, and it is this times body, old person or middle-aged person. But I don't say that was that times I and this times I. It is the same I which is continuing. Not only do we recognize it by our this power of recognition, memory and perception together, but also by common sense. Your parents will say, it's the same you. You look, here is your baby photo, and look at you now. Law will say, it is the same you. By law, you are the same person who was the baby. Legally, common sense, politically, your citizenship will say, it is the same person who was born on such and such date. So, and our own perception also says. In order to falsify that, then you will have to say, my perception and my memory are both wrong. I am being misled. You'll have to say, recognition is false. So our strong recognition is, it is the same entity which was there yesterday. The same one attended yesterday's class is the same one attending today's class. It's the same one who was a little kid in school. It's the same one who was in the baby, where I don't have any memory, but I'm sure the sense of I was there, and it was this sense of I. Now notice, the changes are so dramatic. Body has changed so much. Thoughts have changed even more. My attitudes, my knowledge, my memories, my desires, my knowledge about the world. All of these, my personality. From baby till now, how much change? It's unbelievable. So, such a dramatic change. That body is not this body. It's a stream of changes. That mind is not this mind. It's a stream of tremendous changes. I mean, it has changed dramatically. But that I is literally, by itself, it's literally the same I. So he says, Vyavrittasu anuvartamanam. This is the heart of the observation. Vyavritta means different. Baby's body, child's body, middle-aged body, different. Baby's thoughts, imagine. We cannot even imagine. It will be so alien for us. The thoughts of a 6-month-old baby or 1-year-old baby. Different thoughts, memories, knowledge, understanding, so different. Desires. Our desires when we were teenagers, our desires when we were little kids, so different from our desires today. Quite different. Different. And in the middle of all these differences, in and through, runs one continuous I, which we say, same. So, Vyavrittasu, persisting in and through the middle of all these changes, is one continuous I. What is the nature of this I? It can only be existence consciousness. Because all particulars, all specifics have changed, more or less. Or they could have changed. Age, weight, height, health, knowledge, memory, desires, all those things have changed. Body and mind have changed. But consciousness has not changed. So the one I persisting through various ages of the body, stages of life, that I must be consciousness only, existence consciousness only. Everything else can or has changed or can change. Associated with the stages of the body, I, with this young person's body and this young person's thoughts and desires, I am the knower, I am the enjoyer, I am the doer, karta, bhokta, pramata. But if I separate myself from the body and the mind, the stages and changes, then I remain only as existence awareness. Then I become sakshi. If I am identified with the changing body and the changing mind, then I am karta, bhokta, pramata. I am the samsari. I am ahankara. Ahankara, karta, bhokta, pramata, samsari, all are the same entity, different dimensions. But if I separate myself, separate means I see myself as awareness only, existence only. Then as existence or awareness, this on the left hand side, this one, by itself, it's not a pramata, not a knower. It's not a doer. To be a doer, it requires a body and organs of action. To be a knower, it requires a body and organs of knowledge. To be an enjoyer, it requires indriyas, sense organs. But by itself, it is what is called Sakshi Chaitanya, witness consciousness. So by this process of Vyavrittasu Anuvartamanam, persisting as the same in the middle of continuous change, by this process. And I recognize it as something experienced. What is the experience? Pratyabhigya, recognition, which is a combination of perception and memory. I feel the I now, and my memory tells me it's the same I. It's not different. By Pratyabhigya, I say I am the one persistent existence consciousness through all these stages of life. Now this is one kind of stages of life. Then he gives another kind of stage of life, which is waking, dreaming, sleeping. Every day we go through this. See, babyhood, childhood, teenagers are over a lifespan, and they pertain to the body. But waking, dreaming, sleeping is one day, and it pertains to the mind specifically. Imagine this waking state. What is the waking state? I, the consciousness, shining in the mind, with the body which is awake, contacting the world which is the teacup. This is my waking state here. Yeah. Here is Jagrat Prapancha, star lake. Here is the Jagrat Pramata, waking knower, body, mind, reflected consciousness. Yes, background pure consciousness is there. But then I fall asleep. The body goes to sleep, sometimes in Vedanta class, in retreat itself. And then what happens? The Jagrat Prapancha, the world of star lake, disappears. The fact that it's a body also disappears. I am there. And a world of dreams comes before me, projected by the mind. Body has fallen asleep, so sense organs have shut down. But mind is still working, and it projects dreams. And I am part of the dream also. I am there in my own dream, a character in my own dream. I am there, I am the subject, and I am in the middle of Swapna Prapancha, the dream world, as the person in the dream inhabiting a dream world, very much like our virtual worlds. And there also I have many experiences and so on and so forth. And then I fall asleep, deep sleep. No world externally, star lake is not perceived. I am sleeping. Internally, dream is also not perceived. No dream. Mind has also shut down. Body is sleeping, mind is resting or shut down. I remain, as Shankaracharya said, like the eclipsed moon or the sun. I remain as pure consciousness shining upon the darkness of the sleeping body-mind. I remain as that. Then I wake up again, or I dream again and then I wake up again. So we cycle through waking, dreaming, sleeping every day. So what? The stages are vyavritta, exclusive of each other. In my dream, I might be walking in Central Park. In my waking, I might be walking in Star Lake. Star Lake and Central Park are exclusive to each other. The two cannot be together. It's either you are in Star Lake or you are in Central Park. In my waking, I might be here in 2024, in the retreat. In my dream, I might be back in our monastery 10 years ago. I'll be walking there. It's 10 years ago. Different place, the monastery. The dream person is in the dream, and the waking person was actually sleeping in the bed. They're all they cannot be together. They're all exclusive of each other. Yet, this is the amazing fact. I claim I am the same one. After waking up, I claim I, the one who am in Star Lake, was the one dreaming that I was in Belur Math or in Central Park. The places are different. The worlds are different. The bodies are also different. One was sleeping on the bed, another was walking in Central Park. Bodies are different. Experiences, what I am seeing with these eyes when waking, what I saw with the eyes in the dream, different. Experiences are different. Memories are different. And yet I claim I am the same one. Then which is that one which is common to waking and dreaming? And even more stunning, in deep sleep also. If there is something I am common to waking, dreaming, deep sleep, it can't be the body. Because this body did not accompany me to the dream. It was lying in the bed. And it cannot be the mind also, because the mind which accompanied me to dream state, that mind did not accompany me in deep sleep. But I say, I am in the waking, I was in deep sleep, I was in the dream, I. Who is that I? If it's not body and mind. It is that one consciousness, witness consciousness. Left side. So, vyavrittasu anuvartamanam. In all tremendously different worlds, bodies and minds, I am saying, anuvartamanam, I am there, I am there, I am there. On what grounds? Pratyabhigyayate. I recognize it. He says, aham iti antasphurantam sada. I am always shining as I. That I. It cannot even be the ego. Why not? Because in deep sleep the ego is not there. How do you own the deep sleep if the ego is not there? Then it cannot be the ego which owns the deep sleep. The ego cannot say, I am sleeping deeply. You are not there. How will you sleep deeply? Only something which is awake and deep sleep can claim there was deep sleep. Only something which is there other than body and mind can say that body and mind were in deep sleep. What is that? Witness consciousness. That which is present when everything changes. All circumstances change. Aham iti antasphurantam sada. Unbroken sense of self is there. Ego, be careful, ego is there in the waking state. It's not the ego. In the waking state also ego disappears sometimes. When you're intensely focused, you're playing a musical instrument, tabla, you're doing some surgery on a patient, intense focus on any task, the ego will stop. You will feel at that moment there's like a selfless. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi called it the flow state. In the flow state of tremendous concentration, sense of ego, I am doing this, suppose playing tabla or some musical instrument, and you say, I am playing it nicely, that moment you'll make a mistake. The ego interferes. Ego is not necessary actually. In the highest performance, it's egoless. Sports people know this, musicians know it, artists know it, they call it flow. So, it is not ego. And of course, in deep sleep, ego is not there at all. And yet we own, I slept. Who is that I then? It can't be body, it can't be mind, it can't be ego. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. Then only Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. This teaching, the one who gives us this teaching, beautifully teaches, elucidates, manifests this knowledge, prakati karoti. How? Mudraya bhadraya. By a simple gesture of the hand. Mudra. So in puja, so this is a whole science. Mudra, hand gestures, symbols. And they're supposed to have meaning and power, each one of them. Power in the sense, at least this much they do. Those gestures will induce certain states of mind also. They also affect the flow of prana in the body. All these things there's a whole science. I don't know any of it, but if you have learned puja, you know some of the mudras. So some of them can be pretty complicated, huh? Like this. Or like this. So there are many kinds of mudras. Like this. This one is a fairly simple mudra. You won't run the risk of breaking your fingers if you try to do that. You don't need particularly flexible fingers either. Just this. This is called auspicious hand symbol, chin mudra, the mudra of consciousness, which teaches consciousness. What is it teaching? Vyavrittasu anuvartamanam aham sphurantam sada balyadishu jagradadishu sarvasu avasthashu api. In all the avasthas, from childhood, childhood, old age, middle age, old age, I am associated with them. I am the child, or I was the child, I was the middle-aged person, I am now the old person. But if you dissociate with that, you remain as the witness consciousness in and through all of these ages. If you associate with the waking, dreaming, sleeping, here, you associate like this with the waking, dreaming, sleeping. This is a waking state. If you associate with that, I am the waker. But then I can't be the sleeper or dreamer. If you say, I am the waker, dreamer, sleeper, then you can't be the body in the waking state. You can't be, you can be the body in the waking state, but the same body does not follow you in dream state. Certainly the body is not experienced in deep sleep. The mind follows you to the dream state, but the mind doesn't follow you to deep sleep. So then by that analysis, what is it that is common to all these changing states? It is witness consciousness. As long as I am identified with physical body, this physical body, subtle body, our minds, and the causal body, which you experience in deep sleep, I am identified, I will be like this. When I am like this, karta, bhokta, then paramata, I am the knower, I am the agent of action, and I am the enjoyer or sufferer of the results of action. This one, I am samsari, I am ahankara, ego. But when I distinguish myself from these three bodies, and I say, I am the one underlying witness consciousness, then I am witness consciousness, sakshi. I am not pramata, I am not bhokta, I am not karta. Knowing this, I can put on the dress of karta, bhokta, pramata, but always I know that I am the sakshi only. Actions can go on, knowledge can go on. When you are sakshi, it's not that you will stop seeing, hearing, it's not that you will stop going out to your job, it will not even stop that you will stop enjoying or suffering. It will all continue. But your knowledge is that I am the sakshi. Your knowledge is not that I am the knower, I am the samsari, I am the ahankara. It is the samsari, it is the ahankara which suffers in samsara. The sakshi illumines, makes possible all experiences, but is not affected at all. So this is mudraya bhadraya. Dakshinamurti shows this. In the iconography you will see. One way of teaching is maunam vyakhyanam. The teaching was in silence. Shishyastu chinna samshaya. The students, their doubts were removed. The doubts were dispelled. The other teaching is like this. So the prepared student who has understood waking, dreaming, sleeping, babyhood, childhood, old age, babyhood, middle age, old age, will understand the meaning of this. Physical body, subtle body, gross body, physical body, subtle body, causal body, will understand the meaning of this. If you have read Vedanta, this one will be enough to show you what reality is. You are that. Often when we try to explain things to other people, have you seen people make unconsciously, instinctively, they make gestures. When you're making a fine point of something, this is what I want to say is this. You see, you're making the chin mudra. You're trying to convey some subtle knowledge. Huh? Perfect. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, that's also good. Superb, yes, that's also good. That's the chin mudra. And I also mentioned how the anthropologist said opposable thumb is at the root of our modern civilization. Use of technology, use of instruments. And dolphins are sometimes, they say they have bigger brains than us, but they don't have opposable thumb. They can't use instruments. We are tool-using creatures. That is at the basis of our whole civilization. That also is possible because of this opposable thumb. Anyway, just as an aside. So, chin mudra, the mudra of consciousness. Dakshinamurti teaches like this. Now, moving on. What does Dakshinamurti do? Swatmanam prakati karoti. He only teaches his own self. I am this witness consciousness. You too are this witness consciousness. How will we understand? Like this. That's all. How advanced the students must be just to see this and they will understand. Become enlightened. Done. Goodbye. No retreat. No retreat might be there, but Dakshinamurti will sit silently, like this. Now, number 8. Now the question is, if that is Dakshinamurti, why all this? You are saying it is one pure consciousness. Yeah. Then who is the one who is suffering? Who is the one who is in bondage? Who is the one who is trying to attain liberation by going to retreats? Who is this one? You might say it's Dakshinamurti, but how? So the answer is, of course, Maya. Chapter 8. Verse number 8. Vishwam pashyati karya karanataya swaswami sambandhatah शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जाग्रति वाये ययेष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये. Remember the question. Who is in bondage? Who is seeking liberation? Who is the one attending classes? Who is the worldly one? Who is the spiritual one? If there is only one consciousness. Listen. To the Atman who, deluded by Maya, sees in waking or in dreams the universe in its variety as cause and effect, as master and servant, as teacher and disciple, as father and son, and so on, to him who is incarnate in the teacher, to him in the effulgent form facing the south, to him Shiva be this salutation. It is the same Dakshinamurti. Yeah. Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivanandaji, who is the president of the order, and this is an interesting description of how he, as the president, sometimes in a certain mood, so all these people who would come in front of him, monks and devotees, every day in a long queue they come and offer pranams, salutations to the president of the order. And Swami Shivanandaji would often bow down to them. Even before they could bow down, he would bow down to them. And they were taken aback. In India, it would make somebody very uneasy if your guru bows down to you. So they were saying, Swami, don't do that. We all feel very uneasy. Why are you doing this? And he says, what can I do? When people come in front of me, I see the luminous form of their Ishta Devata. The God, the chosen deity of that person. Maybe even that person doesn't know until the person is initiated. I don't see the human form. I see the Ishta Devata. And so I can't talk to God. I can't give instructions to God. I bow down immediately to God. And then the divine form disappears and the human form comes in front. That's how he sees. Now, what is the answer to this? Who is the one who is in bondage? Who is the one seeking liberation? The same Dakshinamurti. How? The answer is Maya. What happens is, this is Maya Paribhramita, whirled around by Maya. Maya Paribhramita. What happens is, when Maya is introduced, the same Dakshinamurti, which is on the left, pure consciousness, with the introduction of Maya, it becomes twofold. One is Ishvara. The term Ishvara means God. What is God? Mayadhisha, the wielder of the power of Maya, the one who is the Lord of Maya. And it becomes millions and billions of jivas, sentient beings. That same Dakshinamurti becomes, or appears as. And these jivas are called Mayadhina, under the domain, under the spell of Maya. We are under the spell of Maya, each one of us. And the Lord, God, is the master of Maya, the Lord of Maya. This is what Maya does. The same non-dual consciousness now appears in twofold. One Ishvara, many jivas. One supremely powerful, the other almost powerless. One omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, the other one little lowing, poor, weak, troubled in samsara. So this is what happens. Maya, the play of Maya. How can Maya do this? I am Dakshinamurti. Well, how can Maya put me in trouble? And See, there is one philosophy called Kashmiri Shaivism in which they say even Maya can't do anything to you because you are Dakshinamurti. It is your will. You want to play. Yeah. You want to play. And that's why this play is going on. Dakshinamurti wants to play. I have often quoted the story from Alan Watts. He says, why is this universe going on? He said, because in the beginning there was God alone. And God existed from eternity to eternity. But to exist alone, eternity to eternity is very boring. It's a long time to exist alone. So God wanted to play. But whom will God play with? Because there's nobody else to play with, there's only God. So God thought about this problem for a long while. And because God is very clever, God came up with a solution. What's the solution? God pretended to be not God. Now there are two. There is God and God pretending to be not God. Now the two can play. Ishvara and Jiva. God and God pretending to be not God. But the problem was, God is also not only very clever, God is very good at what He does. So when He pretended to be not God, He completely forgot that He was God. And now God pretending to be not God, forgetting that He is God, is searching for God. Here is samsara. That's where we are at. According to Kashmiri Shaivism, even Maya cannot obstruct you. You are Dakshinamurti. You are playing. This is your game. When you want it to end and become enlightened, you will become enlightened. You might say, but I want it. Why am I not becoming enlightened? I'm trying so hard. Well, now you want to play at trying hard. Earlier you wanted to play at being samsari, a worldly person. And that you played for lifetime after lifetime. Now you want to play at being a spiritual person, a sadhaka, spiritual seeker. Now you will play hopefully not lifetime after lifetime. Maybe in one lifetime you want to play the game of being a spiritual seeker. Yeah. So that's what's going on, the play of Maya. How Maya catches us, there are many stories among the monks. So, how hunters catch parrots. There are those who trap birds. It seems in the villages in India, what they do is, I've never seen such a trap, but I've seen pictures. So it's made of twigs. It's a simple mechanism. You want to catch parrots, and parrots love these sunflower seeds. So you keep the sunflower seeds and there's these twigs, and it's a very delicately balanced mechanism. So when the parrot perches on it, by the weight of the parrot, it turns upside down. And the parrot is catching hard onto it, like this. When it turns upside down, the parrot feels it will fall down, and it holds on for dear life. Now imagine the paradox of it. The parrot which flies across the sky is afraid of falling down. Nothing will happen if the parrot lets go. But it will not let go. It catches on for dear life. As the thing has swung around, the parrot is suspended up and down, holding on to that. And the person who wants to catch the birds plucks up the parrots and puts them in a cage. Maya catches us in that way. Yeah. Swami Vivekananda says, "Thine only is the hand that holds the rope that drags thee on. Let go thy hold, sannyasi board. Say Om Tat Sat Om." Sannyasa, becoming a monk, is a difficult thing. It means letting go your hold. Should be easy for the parrot to let go of the hold. No harm will come to it. It flies. What will happen? Nothing will happen. But can't let go. Similarly, we can't let go. Body, mind, worldliness. I am limitless consciousness. Why should I catch hold of this little body? The moment I catch hold of the body is being dragged along by its past karma. I'll also get dragged along by the past karma of the body. You know what the enlightened one does? He lets go. The enlightened one says, it is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Kimicchan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. Atmanam ched vijaniyat ayam asmiti purushaha kimicchan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. If you realize the self to be, I am like this. Once you realize limitless consciousness, yes, I am, it's very clear. Then desiring what and for whose sake should I allow myself to be dragged on by the body? The word used there is be fevered with the body. Yeah. Anusangjuret, jwara means fever. The body is in a continuous fever. And why should I tremble with the fever of the body? There is a story of a yogi in the high Himalayas. Now he had a fever. He was lying down under a comforter, they call it rajai. That means a thick, crude blanket. It's sort of hairy, and I remember I used to sleep under that thing. But it's very, very warm. He's sleeping under it and trembling with fever, shaking with fever. For some reason, he was summoned for some work. Some other monks had summoned him. So a delegation of monks had come, but please come for this, either some discussion or some kind of, whatever, some festival or something. You have to come. We need your presence there. This great yogi. The yogi said, but I have fever. He said, please, you have to come. Then the yogi said, all right. He got up from that and he started walking. And they saw the comforter, the blanket, was trembling there on the floor. He said, what magic is this? What's going on? He said, all right, I have this work, so I can't have the fever now. I've told the fever to be with the blanket. So the blanket is trembling. And let me go and do the work that I have to do for you. Now you might think this is, I don't know if this is a true story, but the point is taken. It's a Vedantic story. The point is taken. Let the body tremble with its fever, a born of past karma. You be free of it. You be free of it. The yogi was saying, I am accepting the result of my past karma. Right now I can't be in fever because I've got some work to do. But again, when I come back, I'll take the fever back from the blanket. I have to undergo the... Swami Vivekananda, but I don't know how much of these are just stories. It's quite possible. The two stories, one is Swami Vivekananda, I think it was Saradanandaji or someone. He had a fever in the monastery and he couldn't go to meditation in the morning. And Swami Vivekananda said, what superstition is this? Even now, just the body. See, these are direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. They were enlightened. Brother, shake it off. Say, there is no fever. Come. He did that. He got up. Fever went away. That was in the presence of Vivekananda, yes. And the opposite. At one time, the monks were preparing, I think it was the birthday of Sri Ramakrishna. They went one of the first celebrations in Belur Math. And Swami Vivekananda was present. And he said, look, if I'm short-tempered, if I'm here, if I see any defects in the preparations, any problems, I will scold the boys so much. I better not be in the middle of all of you. Go ahead and do it. Let me have a fever so that I can lie down. And he got a fever immediately. And he went and lay down. And the preparations went on smoothly without scoldings from Swami Vivekananda. Kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. Remember, the body will continue to be fevered. Why should I suffer along with the fever of the body? The parrot is caught like that. Maya catches you like that. Another example, the monkey. It's also a well-known example. When the farmer wanted to catch the monkey who was stealing all the produce of the farm, so he put some bananas, but in a narrow-necked jar. So bananas, you have to put it in, but if someone tries to pull it out, it's not at all easy. So the monkey thrust its hand into the jar and caught hold of the banana. But now it can't pull it out. And the farmer came and caught hold of the monkey. Now the monkey had just let go of the banana, it could have escaped. But it won't let go. It's holding on there. The story of the parrot is out of delusion it's holding on. Story of the monkey is out of desire it's holding on. Not just delusion, desire. I want it so badly, I won't let go. Even if I get into serious trouble. Then the story of first the parrot story, monkey story, then the donkey story. So the washerman comes for washing his clothes and he has the washerman's donkey. He loads the ass, the donkey, up with all the dirty laundry, goes to the river bank, unloads it and washes it. And then loads up and then dries it on the river bank. You can see it I've seen it in my childhood, on the bank of the river Katjodi in Cuttack. So then the washerman at sunset folds up all the dried clothes and puts it nicely, the dried laundry, on the back of the donkey, and then they go back home. Next day he'll go out on his rounds, distributing the clean laundry. Now the washerman came with the dirty laundry, but to his horror he discovered he had forgotten to get the rope with which to tie the donkey. Yeah. You're feeling cold, some of you. You can switch off the AC. You're fine? Okay, some people are cold. Yeah. Now the washerman found that how will he tie the donkey? Because if he takes the laundry and washes the laundry, and by that time the donkey will wander off and he'll lose the donkey. It's his livelihood. So he was worried. He didn't know what to do. Then a wise man of the village was walking past, and what's the problem? He says, "Sir, oh, such trouble. If I go back home to get the rope to tie this donkey, the day will be gone. It will be lost." So the gentleman said, "Don't bother. Just go through the motions of tying the donkey. Make sure the donkey watches you." And so the washerman did like this and was pulling the donkey, and donkey is watching. And as if putting a rope around the neck of the donkey is watching. And then the washerman took the laundry and walked to the river, looking back, and the donkey is also looking back at him, standing there, once in a while flicking at. And then whole day the donkey stood there, was nibbling at the grass that did not go anywhere. Then the washerman came, very happy. He loaded the clean laundry on the donkey at the end of the day and said, "Hut, move." The donkey didn't move. The washerman said, "Come on, get a move on. It's getting dark." Donkey didn't move. And then the washerman ran, "Oh, what trouble. If it was tied, it could be untied." But it's not tied. How will you untie it? Then he ran to the man's house and said, "Sir, what trouble you have put me in? How will I now make the donkey move now?" The man said, "It's easy. Go through the motions of untying. Make sure the donkey watches you." So he comes back and opens the rope as if, and the donkey is watching. And then says, "Let's go." And the donkey starts walking. So all of our bondage and our liberation is done in Maya. Gaudapada Acharya in the Mandukya Karika, he says, "Na nirodho na chotpatti, na baddho na cha sadhaka, na mumukshur na vai mukta, ityesha paramarthata." There is no end to this samsara. Oh my God, then there is no beginning either. What do you mean? We are all people bound in samsara. Na baddha, nobody is bound in samsara. But then what about the people who are struggling so much meditation and prayer and retreats and so much effort they are doing to get free? Sadhaka, we are spiritual seekers. So no one is doing any spiritual practice. There is no sadhaka at all. Na sadhaka. But the people who are seeking liberation, mumukshu, they are at least there. He says, "Na mumukshu." No, there is nobody seeking liberation. But then why is liberated people like you are there? At least that much you will admit. Muktaha. Gaudapada says, there is nobody who is liberated. What nonsense is this? He says, "Esha paramarthata." This is the ultimate truth. This is the truth there. Because of course, it's the ultimate truth from the perspective of pure consciousness, from the Turiya perspective, from the Dakshinamurti perspective. Therefore, all spiritual practice is like untying the donkey, because the tying of the donkey also has been in Maya only. What has happened in Maya is we have gotten into a system, because of Maya, we've gotten into a system of relations. In Belur Mutt, there is, in nearby, there's a festival once in a year, and they sell these little, used to at least, dolls made of sugar. Little dolls. There is the prince, there is the horse, there is the elephant, there is the tiger, and the prince can sit on the horse and hunt the tiger. The children can play. And then you can eat it all up. It's all sugar. Now, exactly like that, We have set up relations with each other. He says, Swaswami Sambandhata. I am the owner. It's mine. I am the owner. Or I am the master and this is the servant. Swaswami. Swaswami actually means owner and owned. Owned and owner. Swa means mine. Swami is owner. My money, my degrees, my Facebook friends, my house, my fame, all of this mine. It's a relationship. And then he says, Guru Shishya Acharyataya. I am the student, here is the venerable teacher, relationship. Pitri Putra Adi Atmana, parents and child, husband, wife, all kinds of relationships. They're all plays of sugar dolls. They're all plays of sugar dolls. You're not a father or son. You're not a guru or shishya. You're not the owner or the owner, master or servant. What are you then? You are sugar. You are sugar itself. All of those you are, and yet none of them. The sugar is not a prince, the sugar is not a tiger, the sugar is not an elephant or a horse. And yet the sugar, elephant, tiger, horse, prince, they're all sugar only. The prince and the elephant and the tiger and the horse, they are not different from sugar. But sugar is different from all of them. You, the pure consciousness, Dakshinamurti, you are entirely independent of the world. But this world and people and relationships, they are not independent of you. They depend on you. You are appearing in those forms. Karya karanataya, karma phala. This is a big one. Karana, cause. Ancient causes that have set in motion. Karya, effect. All the pleasant and the unpleasant that is happening to me. The law of karma, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. Whosoever wears a form must wear the chain too, Vivekananda says. This is axiomatic in Indian philosophies. How different they are. Hindus accept Atma, God. Buddhists deny the Atma, eternal Atma, and God. But both accept karma. Both accept rebirth. Hindus, all sorts of Hindus, Buddhists, all sorts of Buddhists, Jainas, Sikhs, all Indian philosophies directly accept the law of karma. This is one of the common features of Indian philosophies, of Indian darshanas, schools of philosophical and spiritual thought. Others also, the Judaic, the old Babylonian religions, Christianity, all of them, the ancient principle of as you sow, so shall you reap. That's always there. Actions have consequences. You might think it is the law of karma, another might think it God will punish you. But the fact remains the same. Somebody said this moral law. Why would you call it a law? Gravity is a law. If I jump, I'll kill myself or hurt myself. But if I tell a lie, I'm breaking the law. Where is the law of honesty? It's not a law. I can tell a lie if I want to. And I loved it. I read somewhere it says, I love this saying. It says, you cannot break these laws, moral laws, ethical laws. You can only break yourself against these laws. The more you keep trying to break them, the more you'll destroy yourself. Until one time it will be such a devastated personality, such an empty personality, such a personality riddled with holes and emptiness and sorrow and suffering. Yeah. We break yourself against these laws. Yes. Hold on to the question afterwards. Don't forget. I've seen so many such cases. People achieving, we have read about it also, achieving great things in life, tremendous wealth, tremendous power, tremendous achievements in science, in art, and yet ruining it because of unethical life, destroying themselves and causing a lot of harm around themselves. Why just science, art, money and fame? Also spiritual life, religious life. Harming everybody because of their unethical behavior. So, he says, law of karma, good, good, bad, bad. And this also, he says you are beyond the law of karma. Dakshinamurti is beyond the law of karma. Law of karma affects whom? The jiva, under Maya. Jiva under Maya, Maya paribhramita, world around by Maya. The main tool of Maya is law of karma. But what is Dakshinamurti? Swami Vivekananda says, far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. Good, good, bad, bad, only when you are identified with the form. When you realize you are Dakshinamurti, you are Atman ever free. Know thou art that sannyasi board, say Om Tat Sat Om. This is the way of transcending the law of karma. Only way is to realize that you are the Nirguna Brahman or Dakshinamurti, your identity with that. So Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. This same pure consciousness, under the influence of Maya, Maya paribhramita, world around by Maya, from lifetime to lifetime. Upanishad says, Mrityu sa mrityum apnoti. He goes from death to death and sees the world how? Karya karanataya, by the terrible rule of karma. The terrible rule of karma. We think we escape it. We don't. It comes back. Then, as relationships, Swaswami as owner and owned, master and servant, Shishya Acharya, teacher and taught, Pitri Putra as parents and children, and many other kinds of relationships. All of this is the stuff of samsara, but they're all sugar dolls. Play of sugar dolls. You are the sugar itself. Knowing you are the sugar, you can still play. And then the play will be divine play, Leela. Huh? Before that, it's not Leela. Then, so what is sadhana? All sadhana is, remember, tying and untying the donkey. One sadhu said very nicely, what is sadhana in Vedanta? आप वाच्यार्थ को पकड़े हैं या लक्ष्यार्थ को? Have you understood, are you holding on to the direct meaning of tat and tvam or to the implied meaning of tat and tvam? Yesterday we did it. This is such a precise, elegant way of putting sadhana, spiritual practice. What is the direct meaning of tat and tvam? The direct meaning of tvam is this samsari, this person in the world, this person who thinks I am the knower, doer, enjoyer, sufferer, the ego. This is the direct meaning of tvam, you. What is the direct meaning of tat? God, who may or may not help me. I can pray to God to help me in my worldly activities. And God can help, may not help. And what is the lakshartha, implied meaning? The implied meaning of tvam is pure consciousness, Dakshinamurti. What is the implied meaning of tat? Pure consciousness. Then I realize tattvamasi. That is sadhana, to move from the direct meaning of tat and tvam to the implied meaning of tat and tvam. And in between everything will come. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and finally jnana yoga. This is the path of jnana yoga. Like a dream, awakening from a dream. In a dream, I see a world. How? Through dream eyes. In the dream body, in the dream eyes, I see the dream world. When I awaken, with these awakened eyes, the dream world cannot be seen. It's gone. I see the waking world. When I awaken from this waking world into my real nature as Satchidananda, right now these are the eyes of Maya. In the dream, dream eyes. In the waking world, eyes of Maya. When the eye of knowledge opens, that's why third eye of knowledge. When the eye of knowledge opens, then I realize I am Satchidananda. Here itself. It's not that I will go to another state. From dream to waking is a change of state. But from waking to enlightenment, it can be done in this state itself. So I realize I am Satchidananda. Then I see through the eyes of knowledge. Through the eyes of knowledge, I realize I am pure consciousness, and all this is also pure. I am Dakshinamurti. All this is also Dakshinamurti. That realization comes. So this is sadhana, the result of sadhana. Maya paribhramita, world around by Maya. Maya does not let go easily. Maya does not let go easily. She is happy when we escape, when we find our freedom, because she wants us to get freedom. But until that time, we are bound tightly. So there's a beautiful song where Maya, Mahamaya, Shakti is compared to a little girl who's flying kites. There are millions of kites, but she holds all of them in her little hand. Once in a while, one kite escapes the string and floats away into the vast blue sky. And what does she do? Is she upset? No. She laughs in delight and claps her hands. So, Gudi lokhe duto ekta kate. In among millions of kites, one or two might get, the string is snapped and it floats away. So it's not easy. We think we are doing very well. The Jiva, the same Dakshinamurti, under Maya, playing like a sugar doll, thinks I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. Sri Ramakrishna says, this young person struggles from out of poverty through hard work and becomes a judge. So that was the highest thing one could aspire for in British India in those days. You could become a lawyer and then rise in the ranks and court, and then you can become a judge. He says in Bengali that bhabe ami besh achi, bhetor theke antarjami bole besh acho tumi. I feel I am doing well. Things are going really well. From inside the antaryami, God says exactly, yes, you're doing well. At the end of his life, that man thinks, in Bengali, Sri Ramakrishna says, Sheshe bhabe ki korlam ami. What did I do in life? And Bhetotteka antaryami, from inside the antaryami, God says, Taito ki korle. Well, that's true. What did you do? So, God is, in Gita it is said, Anumanta, the permitter, the enabler. Whatever we want, God will make it happen. So what did you do in life? Really, what did you do? Then this person, I must, there is nothing in this world, disappointed. I must realize God. And the goal of life is God realization. Maybe he runs away from these are stories told by monks, so it is monk-like stories. Runs away from the village to the forest or the mountain to meditate, learn Vedanta and meditate and realize that I am Brahman. But Maya is like the shepherd. If the shepherd loses one animal, this is the opposite of the biblical story. The shepherd goes to bring back the prodigal sheep, but here the shepherd loses one animal. Maya, he will not let go of one animal. So she sets off behind the one which was lost, which has gone into the forest to escape, with a stick and a carrot in hand, to tempt that one back or to scare that one back into the fold of Maya. So this one who has run off to be a monk maybe gets scared. I'm so alone, it's so scary, there are tigers and or at the very least there are mosquitoes, more likely than tigers, which will bite me, and who will give me food, where will I take rest, where will I sleep, all these terrors. And if they get scared, they run back and they give up. Or if the person doesn't get scared, then the carrot. People gather around. Pahuche huye Mahatma. This is Mahatma is very great. See how he sits without care for sun or rain, and how he begs for food. It does not go begging for food. Once in a day, villagers come and feed him. What dispassion! In India, it's highly regarded. So people will start gathering around. Very soon, the person will have many followers. Many will be bowing down. Oh, you are enlightened, you are mighty, you are a great yogi. There's a saying, Yogi ode na, bhaktora odai. Chala odai. The yogi does not fly. It is the students who make the yogi fly. Because the students believe so many things about the yogi. And then comes wealth and power and fame. Carrot. Again trapped in Maya. Now if the yogi can overcome that also. One great sadhu, I had a discussion with him about 20 years ago, about Vedanta. And my question was, if somebody has a grasp, I'm not saying enlightened, has a grasp on Vedanta, what's next? He said, Vairagya hai Mahatma ji, to sadhan mein doob jayega. If the person has intense dispassion, then that person will plunge into sadhana. Sri Ramakrishna says, at the end of all argumentation, when one finds the reality, one gets convinced, clarity is there, becomes quiet. The full pot is only when you're filling the water, it gurgles. When it's full, it does not gurgle anymore. So Sadhu said, doob jayega, sadhan mein doob jayega. And then I said, if vairagya is not enough, dispassion is not there, तो महा प्रवचन देगा और महा नाम कमाएगा. He will go around giving lots of talks and become very popular. He'll become a great figure in society. And that was a warning, I think, to him. So, then if he can overcome those temptations, then Maya lets go. And that person realizes that I am Dakshinamurti. So here he says, the same one who, being whirled around by Maya, forced along by the force of his past karmas, good and bad, thinks of the relationships of the world. I am so and so, I own so much land, I have so many servants. Or I am so poor, I am the servant of such a mighty Lord. And I am the student, he is the teacher. Or I am the father, this is the children, these are the children. And many other relationships like this, being whirled around by Maya. To that one, who is none other than Dakshinamurti, I bow down. To whom? The deluded one. The Jiva. See, I started with this Mahapurush one, Swami Shivananda. He would bow down to the people coming to him. Not that he was making these calculations. He is clearly seeing the divinity there. He is seeing the Dakshinamurti there. So it's a fact. That one in the samsara, going around in samsara, in trouble, maybe not at all interested in spirituality. That is verily Dakshinamurti himself. It is the will, the sweet will of the Lord to play in that way. What can you do? What can you do? So you can only bow down and say, Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So that is the 8th verse. 9th verse is quite amazing, which is the realization of Dakshinamurti in this world, in this universe. This universe, which was if you see the third verse, it denies as unreal, as an appearance, like a dream. In the 2nd verse, he says, like a magician, it's like a magic show. Now he says it is literally God himself, the same universe. He says after enlightenment, it is God himself. Sri Ramakrishna says, after ascending the stairs by doing neti, 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 it goes to the top of the roof, and seeing the roof, then he looks back, whatever he had left behind, this world and its people and all, they are made of the rest of the house, the first floor, the stairs, all of them are made of the same mortar, brick, cement and all stone, which the roof is made of. By attaining one realization of Dakshinamurti, when one looks back at the world and see, it is the same. As the Buddhists would say, samsara and nirvana are the same. How? In the beginning of spiritual life, samsara and nirvana are utter polar opposites. I am in samsara, I will have to reach nirvana. Once you reach, only after you reach, not before that, then you look back, you see the whole thing was a play of Dakshinamurti. In Dakshinamurti, the light of Dakshinamurti appeared samsara, and also now it unenlightened samsara, enlightened nirvana. Same Dakshinamurti. That is the meaning of the 8th verse, and 9th verse we will see tomorrow. Now, we can have question answer for 10-15 minutes and then Arati. Yes. Your question. Have you forgotten it? Then there is the microphone. You have to go to the microphone.
Maharaj, my question to you is, isn't Buddhism a derivation of Indian religion?
Of course, it's an Indian religion.
So was Gautam Buddha was a Hindu, right?
Yes, yes.
And so then why do not they believe in God? Because I did an extensive study, we've been there many years. And then
there are Hindus also who don't believe in God. If you see Hinduism itself, Sankhya philosophy, is very much, it's orthodox Hinduism. It's one of the six systems of Hindu philosophy. Yeah, they do not talk about God at all. But I mean, why? You can yourself answer it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's
remember,
they can do a little bit. They can't go basics that, there's no Atman, there's no rebirth.
Yeah.
How can they change so much? I mean.
Yes, the basics. How can they change so much?
Yeah.
Now, it's a good question. But now you notice the analysis which I mentioned of Tat and Tvam. Do you remember yesterday? Tat Tvamasi? Do you remember? Yesterday we discussed it. You are that. There is a tat type of religion, there is a tvam type of religion. Do you remember I mentioned that?
Yes.
A that-centered religion, a God-centered kind of religion, and a self-enquiry based religion. Both are religions. And both are allowed for in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. So, if you have something like Shaivism, Shiva is God, it's centered around Shiva. If you have something like Shaktism, we're going to celebrate Kali Puja soon. So it's centered around the Divine Mother. If you have a religion based on God, Christianity, it's centered around our Heavenly Father and the incarnate God, Jesus Christ. Or around Allah, or around Jehovah. These are all God-centered religions. God is central, as you said, basic. But religion may not be like that. The other kind of religion is self-enquiry. Who am I? There God is marginal. You may accept God or you may reject God. But the inquiry is, what am I or who am I? I, this person, am suffering. What is the cause of my suffering? Can that cause be removed so that I'll be free of suffering? That's the whole of Buddhism. The core of Buddhism. So Buddhism is a tvam-centered religion. Tvam-centered spiritual practice. Buddhism is like that. Jainism is like that. All very much Hindu. Very much Indian. Yeah. So Orthodox Vedanta, Orthodox Vedic religion has a whole spectrum. Yes, you are right. It is primarily Atma and Ishvara based. Primarily. But it also allows for this kind of self-inquiry type of religion. And therefore, in the broader Indian tradition, I would say in the broader Hindu tradition, there was a time up to, I would say, 19th century, 18th, 19th century, Jainas were considered Hindu, a type of Hindu. You go in America, I've seen many places, Hindu temples have Mahavira, there's a place for Jainism, Jains come and worship there. Jains, Buddhists not so much, because Buddhists had sort of faded away from India for the last 1,000 years. But Jains and Sikhs, they're very much included within Hinduism. Hindus at least have no problem at all.
Sikh was also a Hindu leader.
Yes, of course. So Hinduism is broad enough to accommodate all of it. The second is basics. You're saying, well, how can you do without the basics? But they're not doing without the basics. Karma is included, samsara, possibility of nirvana, the reincarnation, punarjanma, all these basics are fully accepted by Jainas, Buddhists, Sikhs and Hindus. You might say, but Atma in the sense which the dualistic Hindus accept, eternal, persisting, separate self, that is not accepted by Buddhists. But that's not accepted by Advaitins also. It's not a separately existing eternal self. What is Dakshinamurti? It is this thing only. In ignorance, this. In knowledge, it is Dakshinamurti. Here. Heaven, earth, hell, everything is Dakshinamurti. In knowledge. In ignorance, heaven, earth, hell. So the basics are still held on. But then you see the depth of these basics.
Namaste Swamiji, my name is Ram Gopal. My question was, Swamiji, so basically as I understand it, so there is no distinction between the subject and the object, and the ego is kind of like a cloud that's obscuring the sun. Today, you had mentioned that basically the ahankara vritti goes away and the brahmakara vritti ends up...
No, you are mixing up many things. Can you make the question more precise? For example, ego is not like a cloud obscuring the pure consciousness. It is ignorance. The avarana shakti of Maya. Maya has the veiling power. It's the veiling power of Maya. It's ignorance which obstructs our knowledge of our real nature. It's not that ahankara goes away and brahmakara vritti comes. No. This is, you're mixing up multiple concepts.
Maharaj?
Yes. So what's the question?
Yes, Maharaj. Could you just explain that, like brahmakara vritti, that part?
Brahmakara vritti. So all knowledge requires a vritti. You can see vritti vyapti. That information of the teacup comes into the mind. In the mind, a vritti about the teacup is set up. And then the consciousness reflected in the mind illumines that vritti, and we get the knowledge, I know the teacup, or I see the teacup. Now, there are two parts to this knowledge. One is called vritti vyapti, one is called phala vyapti. Vritti vyapti is when the mind takes the form of the teacup. That means, not that the mind becomes a teacup, in the mind a thought about the teacup comes. And phala vyapti is when the reflected consciousness in the mind illumines that vritti. Then only knowledge comes. These two are required for knowledge. For enlightenment, for realization of Brahman, you need a Brahmakara vritti. To know the cup, you need Kapakara vritti. What does the vritti do? It's called avarana bhanga, as if there is a veil of ignorance over the cup. And when you form a vritti about the cup, the veil of ignorance over the cup is removed. And knowledge comes because the reflected consciousness illumines that vritti. In case of Brahman, to know Brahman, to realize I am Brahman, you must form a vritti about Brahman. How is it to be formed? Through all our Vedantic studies. The vritti will be I am Brahman. But the meaning has to be very clear. You have understood what is meant by Brahman, you have understood what is meant by I. Tattvamasi has been analyzed. That is clear, and you have fixed it in your mind. Then the knowledge comes, I am Brahman. The veil, the ignorance about Brahman goes away, but then the reflected consciousness in the mind does not illumine Brahman. Brahman shines forth. You shine forth. You are Brahman after all. So that is called Brahmakara vritti.
Is it kind of like the cloud? Is that a good analogy, Maharaj? The cloud becoming thin and you're able to see the sun through.
Yes. The cloud is thinned, cloud of ignorance is thinned, or the cloud of ignorance is blown away by the wind of knowledge. Sun is always shining. But remember, in this case, strangely enough, when you see the sun, you realize, I am the sun. All right.
Thank you. Yeah. Swamiji, what you just said pretty much answered what I had, which is that, the moonlight is the sunlight.
Yes.
But sunlight is not the moonlight.
Need not be.
Yes, right. So sunlight shines by itself, need not, but moonlight is the way it experiences.
Yes.
The body, mind, and the world.
Yes. So
Right. Yeah.
sunlight is compared to Atma Chaitanya, consciousness,
That's
pure
right.
consciousness, Atman.
Yes.
Moonlight is the
Reflected.
consciousness reflected and channeled through the mind and the senses.
Correct. Right. And so what we are is the sunlight.
We are the sunlight.
Right.
But we are also the moonlight.
Uh-huh.
The sunlight is the moonlight.
Right.
Therefore, the beauty of the moonlight is it's always available.
Right.
Right now, we are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, we are thinking, we are enjoying, suffering. All of that becomes sunlight for us, pure consciousness for us, once we realize what it is.
What it is, exactly.
It is that we are using it for our mundane purposes, but we're not using it to attain fulfillment and overcome suffering.
Right.
We can do that with that same light, with this moonlight, which is the sunlight. How? Sri Ramakrishna tells the parable of the washerman and the diamond. The washerman found a diamond, he did not know what a diamond is, and used that used that diamond to scrub dirty laundry. But luckily, he thought it's a strange stone, and he asked his friend, the vegetable seller, what is this? The vegetable seller said, it's certainly an attractive stone. I will give you brinjals for it. I'll give you potatoes for it. Luckily, he didn't sell it diamond for potatoes. He asked other people, more knowledgeable. Finally, when he came to the diamond merchant said, my God, what you have got is the biggest uncut diamond that I've ever seen. You sell it to me for 10 million rupees. And did that, he cashed it in, and now it solved all his poverty. Now the parable shows that the diamond was always with the washerman.
Right.
And he was using the diamond also. But his problems continued, his poverty continued. But he did not know the true extent of what the diamond was, the depth and the limit of what it was, the value of it.
Yes.
And then he was introduced to it by the diamond merchant. The diamond merchant just told him what it is, what he already has.
Right.
It's a beautiful story.
Excellent.
We are pure consciousness. We are the sunlight. But we are using it for seeing, hearing, for...
Yeah, we are using it as moonlight.
And moonlight,
see,
for not only that, also creating trouble for ourselves. Fighting, quarreling, enjoying, suffering, hating, all of it.
Right.
Our samsara, All of it is because of this light only. Because with this only we are doing all our samsara.
Exactly.
Then we come to the diamond merchant, which is Vedanta, which tells us what we have. It is Brahman, it is Dakshinamurti. This is what you have. And if you truly realize it, we'll see it's always there.
Yeah.
And you can still scrub dirty laundry, but you don't need to anymore. You realize that I am infinite consciousness and all your needs and aspirations are met forever.
Fulfilled. Yes. So, Swamiji, on this note, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I think on behalf of everybody.
It's not over yet.
No, maybe not, but the thanks are in order.
And that's the attitude of an enlightened person. Most people are still waiting for enlightenment. Those who suddenly become enlightened, thank you, I'm so happy. Bye. Yes. In the Vivek Chudamani, you will find many, many verses of thanks. The disciple is so happy, delighted, keeps on thanking the Guru. Oh, you are great, you are wonderful. How wonderful I am, I have now realized, thanks to you. And all the students, rest of the students, wait a minute. I don't get it yet. Yeah.
But he is thanking you on everybody's behalf because I think, you make it so clear, Swamiji. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for these awesome retreats, and the generosity of your time and effort, Swamiji. You answer all our questions. You repeat things again and again for our sake.
Yes,
there's no words are enough for this.
It still sounds like a final session now. Next question, yes. Yes, next question.
Okay, all right. So let's not make it final. I'll bring up one observation.
Yes.
And this is, I had a very interesting chat with Bill yesterday. So I think he's back here again.
Yes.
Yes, this was about devotion and love, and then how it relates to this, right? So our discussion sort of moved in the direction of that why can't pure consciousness also be pure love? Because it's not resisting anything. It is actually giving reality to everything and everybody.
Yes.
Right? What else does love do? Love includes everybody.
That's a beautiful observation, yes.
Right? So
pure consciousness is like the sky, vyapta dehaya, akashavad vyapta dehaya. All pervasive like the sky which gives space for everybody, everything, and does not resist anybody or anything. We must strive to be more and more like that. Yes, we have got 2 more questions and the Arati will be there.
Pranam Maharaj. My name is Janhavi. My question relates to the flow state that you mentioned earlier. With respect to music especially, you said that when the flow state is attained, it leads you to a selfless state. The I there is not the ego, but the witness consciousness. And that answered my question, what is it in music that has the ability to give you a glimpse of the ultimate reality? So building on that, my question is that in my personal experience, I noticed that the divinity manifests when we are singing, but when we stop singing, we musicians are quite terrible people. So my question basically is that, is it right, am I right in understanding that a firm grounding in Advaita Vichar or in genuine bhakti is quintessential to music practice to make it an actual sadhana? And in the absence of that, it just remains a craft.
Yes, very well put, very well put. So music can take you to God. There's no doubt about it. Sister Nivedita said, Vivekananda told her, she says, that religion, science and art, which includes music, are 3 ways of attaining the same reality, but you need Advaita to understand this. So it must be seen as a spiritual practice. There's a technical side to music. And I have seen this, especially in the case of monks. We have some highly trained musicians, some of them. Some sing with natural ability, some are trained musicians. Now the senior monks would always tell us, especially the trained musicians, That be careful. Don't lean on the technical side too much. Always think you're not performing to an audience. You're not performing to for a recording of a in those days cassette tapes and CDs came along. You are performing for God. I have seen one of the most touching songs I have heard, bhajans, by a Swami who has passed away now, Swami Triptyanandaji. I heard from senior Swamis in his younger days, he had a golden voice, he was a wonderful singer. But when I met him, he was in his 80s and his voice was quite gone. It was cracked and hoarse and he was breathless often. But when he would sing, I just heard him once or twice in the temple, sitting alone with the harmonium, singing with a cracked, old, hoarse voice, but so much dripping with devotion and feeling. And 30 years later, I can still visualize the scene. Sitting alone, everybody has left the temple. He will not sing when others are present. I just happened to see that. He's sitting alone. Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, Vivekananda are there. The temple has become dark. People are going to shut it down. With the harmonium, he's playing and singing. So that's just the bhakti part of it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. So one can rise to a kind of egoless state at the height of a good performance. But Vedanta will say, unless ignorance is removed, it will again come back and cover you over. And then one is just what one was before the performance.
As a professional musician, can I look at the technical side of music as my seva to the Lord? Because if I'm singing for Him, it's my duty to make it as technically perfect as possible.
Correct. You are absolutely right. That side also. Because Sri Ramakrishna could not bear the slightest mistake. People could not bring him out of samadhi. Even he would be absorbed in God. But slightest fault in laya and tala, he would snap out of samadhi. It's like a shock to him. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Dharmesh. My question is related to the concept you explained about moral law and people breaking themselves against that. And that reminded me of that story in Mahabharata when Duryodhana was asked and he said, I know what adharma is, I can't avoid it. I know what dharma is, I can't go towards it. So the question is, why do individuals behave this way? Is that because of some thing which is compelling them outside their control? Or is there a concept of free will where they need to make a right decision and they fail to exercise the free will in the right way and hence they keep making mistakes and get trapped into the karmic cycle?
Yes, both. There is something outside their control and difficult to control, which is the weight of one's own past karma. The great tendencies which we are powerful tendencies, forces we have set in motion in past lives. Sridhar Swami, the Tikakar, says in the Bhagavad Gita Tika, Subodhini Tika, he says, Prachina karma samskara. The tendencies which have been generated from past karmas, many times repeated, they seem to be subtle in the mind. They are very powerful and unstoppable. A person with an addiction knows how powerful it is. Internal these compulsions. So they can devastate our lives. Is it uncontrollable? At some level it is uncontrollable. Then it requires external control, police or a lunatic asylum or something like that it requires. Or medicine, something it requires. Forcible, I've seen patients tied to the bed. It can't be controlled otherwise. Now, then is it hopeless? What is the point of religion and spirituality then? No, it is not hopeless. That same Tikakar says, there is a shloka in the Gita which says, Nigraham kim karishyati. Nigraham kim karishyati, that we are swept away by the force of our past samskaras. And what can control do? What can control do? Then the Tikakar explains there that what it means is Mahan Prayatna Kartavya. It is warning us it's not an easy task, an enormous effort has to be put into it. As we put in the effort, as the character changes over time, it becomes easier. Just as it's very difficult for an evil character to change his or her ways, it's difficult for a good character also to change his or her ways. The same powers are there, which once the you have got the good powers on your side, they help you. Same idea that Atmaiva Ripuratmana, Atmaiva Bandhuratma. If your mind is the best friend, mind is the worst enemy. Uncontrolled and untrained mind is the worst enemy. Controlled and trained mind is the best friend. So control and training is possible, and we should make efforts. For some of us, it might take a long and difficult time. For others, it might be relatively easier. That's all. I've seen this again and again. I was in an institution which trained monks, so it's a saint training institution to make saints. Yeah. And one philosopher, I told him about this. He said, "How's that going for you?" Not easy. Among these people who have come to be monks, they're all spiritual seekers and all are good people. Then why is it that some do it so easily and some struggle? It's because of past. Our intention is the same. We all want to become enlightened. But the mountain of past samskaras, there was a song, Hindi song. Kahin koi zanjeer nahi, phir bhi bandhe hue hain sab. There are no chains visible anywhere, but everyone is tied down fast. Yeah. Last question. Yes, rapid fire.
I wanted to ask it a little longer, but I'll ask just one word. Becoming aware of awareness happens by Sampurna Ishvara Anugraham, right, Swamiji?
By the grace.
By the grace of God. And right now I'm seeing you, I'm knowing you. This is the light of the self, verily, no doubt about it. And as you abide in the awareness, which is ever present, becoming aware of awareness, there is trupti in your heart, which is felt. And
a little louder.
There is a trupti you experience in your heart, which is pure. And maybe I can put it in a poetic way. You experience like you're in the lap of God, right? Now, the key thing here is, let's assume, it's certainly no doubt very few people attain that perfection, right? That is because of the vasanakshayam. Right? There are no other vasanas which are pulling them back to the world. So, and connecting to our previous conversations that we had earlier right now, so you said, God grants us whatever we want. If we wish for enlightenment, He would give us that too. So at this point, if somebody is like forever, for example, is at this stage or whatever, so they would want to be perfect, but maybe they have little samskaras which might bind them. So, and how is it that the Purna Vasanakshayam happens for that eternal perfection? Means abiding in awareness, which is ever present, and fully be absorbed in that, and experience that bliss, or become aware of that bliss which is ever present within you.
Through sadhana.
Right.
Vasanas are removed through karma yoga, nishkama karma. And mind is concentrated through upasana, meditation. The same sadhana which we do at the beginning of spiritual life. What you're talking about is a pretty advanced stage. That when one has clarity about the fact that I am Dakshinamurti, I am pure consciousness. After that also sadhana continues. But interesting thing is, it's the same sadhana. It's the same japa, it's the same karma yoga, it's the same meditation. However, the attitude is completely different there. In our initial stage, we are seeking. And at that stage, what you're talking about, the one who has reached that stage has already found, is not seeking anymore. Seeking has stopped. Here we are arguing, we are doing vichara, we are trying to understand, trying to grasp. Their arguing stops because they have found it already. So there, all the sadhana is meant to remove the remaining vasanas, is meant to remain centered in that. Sadhana is for what is called Brahmanishtha, for being centered in Brahman. Yes, time is up.
Just hold on to God and ask Him.
Same sadhana.
Right.
Whatever sadhana we were doing in the beginning of spiritual life, the same thing continues. Only internal attitude changes dramatically. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.